Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Laugh and Learn, where curiosity leads and laughter lifts. I'm Gerald, here with Linda de Gonzalez. Today, Timy from, I got to put this up, Raven Tarot Meditation, continues his personal exploration of the Tree of Life. And what's wonderful is, Timy, you've been doing this for about 8 months?
The tree part, yeah, about 8 months. The tarot part, about a year now.
Okay. And so what you're doing is you're sharing with us your exploration as it specifically relates to duality, which, if you haven't watched the duality videos, please do so. They're linked below. There's that.
Yeah.
So, Timy, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. And Linda de Gonzalez, hello.
Hi.
What's up, Linda?
How are you?
And Wanda's here too.
Wanda's with us today. Yeah, I think she was.
She likes trees.
She loves trees. So do I.
There you go.
A little too much.
Well, as I said, this is a laugh and learn.
Yeah.
And I'm Tarot Stash. Thank you for joining us. It is important that you all like and subscribe because it's free. All of our channel links are below. Linda and I also do private readings. Are you doing private readings yet, Timy?
No, not yet.
Okay. We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
I can do them. I'm just not doing them for other people. I do them for myself mostly.
Okay.
At the moment.
There you go. Well, hey, when the time comes, it'll be all good. So.
Well, I say, after this show, all the mechanics will be in place, and then we should just do a bunch of readings.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here going,
because there's a reading. I've developed the spread for this particular structure.
Did you?
And it works really well. Yeah, it's been working for me great. And it's similar to the one that I showed you last time, but it's clearer now. I've refined it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you did that for me on readings for readers, which was great. So that was really wonderful. I do want to remind everyone that this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. So, Timy, we have a few people who are watching us.
Oh, cool.
Madame Maru has posted all of the links. Thank you, Maru.
Thanks.
We have Brenda T. Imagine. Thank you for being here. Akila B24 has arrived. So it's great to have everyone here. And do we need to start? How do we look?
My camera is like doing a weird thing. Let me see if I can turn off the AI.
So Linda has a show tomorrow, I've heard. What's the name of that show?
I'm glad you've heard, Gerald, because you're my guest.
It's a good show. I like the topic. Everyday Anchors.
Everyday Anchors. That's what we're doing tomorrow. Yeah.
So
with the giveaway tool and the prompts and the usual, you guys know how I work.
Yes.
As little as possible. Sorry, what? Did that fall out?
I didn't hear anything.
Good.
So Timy, I do want to ask you a question. Here's this question. What is the Tree of Life? But I want to start with what brought you to studying the Tree of Life for those who did not watch part one. Part one is linked below. And then I know you've got pictures and all that stuff. So feel free. Go for it.
Okay. Well, the Tree of Life stuff was a natural extension of my research into the Marseille Tarot. And it what caught my eye is that as I was going through the Marseille looking for dualities, and I discovered that there are 10 dualities that are in the card deck and they're in perfect numerical order, at least under my interpretation.
Mhm.
Looking for dualities, and they were right there, right in front of my face. Card 1 and 2 is the first duality, card 3 and 4 is the second duality, etc. So there were 10 dualities bookcased by the Fool card at the beginning, and then the World card at the end, and then there's the 20 cards of the major arcana in between, and you put them into pairs, you have 10 duality pairs. And when I saw the Tree of Life with 10 Sefirot, I was like, oh, maybe there's congruence with that. Maybe there's a parallel with that. And as I looked into it, the answer in my mind is yes. And I think I can, explain that out. And like we were saying backstage, I feel like this is almost like an archaeological research. It's an esoteric research, because I think that it's extremely unlikely that these 10 duality pairs were not intentional. It just matches too perfectly with the Tree of Life and all of the different philosophies on that side. And it makes perfect sense from a psychological side. And from my personal experience as a recovering alcoholic and attending AA meetings for the last 6 years, I hear all the stories, and I relate to most of them. And I hear these human, challenges that we have in life. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again because it's important. What I learned in AA is that there aren't evil people and good people, because the people in AA, when they were using, were bad people. They do bad stuff. I mean, I went to prison for a little while because of the drunk driving stuff that I was doing. But I'm not an evil person. I was just extremely unbalanced back then. And it's balance. It's the way the real world works. It's balance. It's not good and evil. Good and evil is cartoonish and two-dimensional. It's like a story you tell a small child to make things a little more simpler. But when you become an adult, life is far more grayscale than black and white, but you can use black and white extremes to define a duality. And that's what I think these duality pairs are in the Marseille Tarot. For instance, you've got like a real easy one is assertiveness, duality number 4. It's the Chariot, which is, physical coercion, forging forth in a very physical way to assert yourself. That's one extreme, and that is not the extreme you should embrace. If you do, then you're fully imbalanced, that you're only asserting yourself in a physical way. And then the other card is the Justice card, and that's intellectual coercion, intellectual assertiveness. And again, you can't only do that, because you would be unbalanced if all you did was sit in a courtroom and make judgments, because nobody is going to follow those judgments if there isn't some physical assertiveness behind it, right? So the path of success, the balance point, is between those two cards, between that duality. And that's the value of this duality interpretation, because you can take those important primal parts of our human personality, and you can break them out into these 10 different dualities. And what it does is it organizes your thoughts. When you have a challenge in your life, you can look and figure out which duality is at hand, and you can do card reads. And just understanding how the duality works puts you in the right direction to making the next decision in your life, doing the next right thing. And that's an AA thing. And I've extended it beyond AA, because I'm an intellectual person, and AA is very specific to recovery. And the philosophies from the 12 steps of AA come from that common fountain of knowledge that informs the Marseille Tarot and the Tree of Life. It's all from the same source.
Yeah.
So the AA version of it is a crash course on keeping yourself alive and not dying. That's a truth. And a lot of my friends in AA have died. We had just had one a week ago. It's a lethal disease, and it kills you. So what I wanted was to expand beyond that. I wanted to learn how the real world works because I'm a curious person and I don't like being lazy, And also, as I said, my life is on the line. If I screw this up and I start drinking again, I think that's the end of it for me because I almost died the last time.
Ooh, wow.
So my screens are blanking out here. Okay, they came back. I think they went in screensaver mode.
I think this is a really important thing to say is what you've done is you have talked about the extreme of initial AA of we've got to save you and stop you from this downward spiral.
It's like triage.
Triage, thank you. That's the word. And you're also describing it now as it's like going, okay, I'm not doing the triage myself. You are available for people in triage mode because that's part of that process. And so you've gone from one extreme to now you're going, okay, I'm toward the center. I'm trying to find balance. What does this all mean? How do I do this every day?
Right.
So,
yeah.
And
so, what we can do here is, I had a whole setup here. Where did it go?
and
I was so prepared.
Yeah, and it's
where
okay.
is my OBS?
Yeah.
No, wait, there it's back. All right, I got to move it back to the other screen. There we go.
Okay.
All right, so what I wanted to do.
I want to put this up there because Maru said if you put the world card on the left and the fool on the right, it's suddenly clear why he's stepping off the cliff.
Cool.
Yeah.
What a brilliant, brilliant insight.
I mean, Maru is all that. I mean, I'm just saying.
All that and a bag of chips. Yep.
She is all that and a bag of chips of your favorite flavor and ribbed or rippled if you want that.
That's why I love talking to this community and you and Gerald and Linda, because you have real knowledge of this. And when I bring up these things, it's a discussion. It's not me telling you what's true. I really don't know what's true. I'm just looking for the truth,
Yeah, it's just like we don't either, but that's
we have no idea.
Don't tell anybody. So it's beautiful to have that. And Maru is like, oh, LOL. Thanks, guys. Thanks, you guys.
You rock.
True. It's true.
What is Maru's name? I don't know what to call her.
Maruta.
So Maruta, if I call you Maruta in the chat, is that okay? Instead of Madam Maru, it seems kind of formal since we kind of know each other a little bit,
There you go. Well, and I do want to say thank you for more people for coming in. This is Laugh and Learn Tree of Life Part 2, where Timy is sharing his exploration and his understanding of the Tree of Life. And you know what I'm thinking, Linda? This is part of.
I never know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Part of what is going on is what's happened is Timy has followed the fascination. And he's followed this creativity. You're fascinated by this idea of balance.
Yes.
And then the Tree of Life. And then you called it, it's like an archaeological dig.
Yeah. It's ancient knowledge that's been occulted. I know it sounds like a cliche or a Hollywood movie, but I think it's true.
So,
and that's motivated me to look further into it.
I love that. And Madame Maru said you can call her that, or you can call her Maru. It's my nickname.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be sure not to call you late for dinner.
Yeah.
So, all right. What would you? So we're talking about. You're going to do some archaeological dig. I'm going to. Shall I embiggen you?
Sure. I'm going to put up some ancient images of the Tree of Life, if I can get all my technology straight here. Okay, so boom, there we go. There's the first one. And I'm going backwards in time to the beginnings of human beings recording these images and these symbols on, stone edifices. This first one here, I'll read you the description that I've written for it. This relief is from the temple of Seti I in Abydos, Egypt. a masterpiece of the New Kingdom. It depicts Pharaoh Seti I with the gods Thoth and Seshat, who are shown ceremonially inscribing his name and his it says regnal years, but I think that's like royal years on the leaves of the sacred Ished Persea tree. This act transforms the tree into a cosmic tree of life, symbolizing divine endorsement and eternal life. The act of writing on its leaves guaranteed the king's reign would be a permanent record in the celestial realm, linking his rule to the daily rebirth of the sun god, Ra. It represents a powerful confluence of kingship, magic, and the quest for immortality. And you can see the tree up there, and that's one of the earliest ones. You know, that's when was the New Kingdom? That was like 1000 BC, something like that. And the next image is this one. So this relief is a Neo-Assyrian work from Mesopotamia, dating to approximately 883 to 859 BCE, and it depicts a highly stylized sacred tree. This motif, distinct from the Egyptian tradition, served as a symbol of the divine order and the prosperity of the Assyrian state, rather than as a medium for recording the king's reign. The tree, which represents no real plant, was often placed on palace walls behind the royal throne, flanked by the king and protective supernatural figures. The imagery, combined with the cuneiform inscription, was designed to emphasize the king's power and his role as the personification of divine authority. So you can see on this one, there's actual flower blossoms, which I think evolved into the Sefirot of the Kabbalah tree of life.
Okay.
You see there's like 2 at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 above that.
Yeah.
And 2 above that, 2 above that. And then there's 1, 2, 3 in the middle.
Yeah.
And that perfectly matches the 10 Sefirot of the Kabbalah tree of life. And it also is in congruence with the tarot, 10 dualities. So we'll do the next one here. This one.
That's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. I wanted to do that so you can see that Linda and I are actually really engaged in what you're saying.
You're not smoking?
We're both like
eating a ham sandwich.
I'm using my tiny hands to scrub my ears. Okay, so what is this one?
Okay, so this one is from Getty Images, to give them credit. This one is also Neo-Assyrian. This is newer Assyrian. It's a Neo-Assyrian relief from Nimrud, 883 to 859 BCE, which depicts the winged supernatural figure known as an Apkallu performing a ritual near a stylized sacred tree. Unlike the Egyptian tree of life, which was a medium for divinely inscribing of Pharaoh's eternal reign, this tree is a symbol of the divine order, prosperity, and fertility of the Assyrian state. The scene, with its cuneiform inscription glorifying King Ashurnasirpal II, was a common motif in palaces, visually reinforcing the monarch's power and his role as the personification of divine authority. And there you see Apakalu sitting there attending to these trees. And you can see on these, you had the same blossoms, right? And I think the other one was a detail of this. I think this one was a bigger piece. It's the same relief sculpture, but you can see the whole thing on this one and get the whole context. And
do we know what kind of a tree that was, or does it even matter?
Well, it's question. Well, in the Egyptian one, it was a oops, I'm going the wrong direction as usual.
Yeah, you mentioned the name of it. I've forgotten.
It was a Persea tree, Persea. Yeah. Or in the language of Egypt, it was the Ished, Ished, Ished tree, or Persea tree. So there was traditions back then of the type of tree that was being used, and it began to develop the blossoms, which I think evolved into this Sefirot. So we can look at the next one. Here, take that off, and then now we're in the Renaissance, and this is a typical Kabbalah tree, and you can see it's more of a abstract rather than realistically figurative tree. but you can see the the roots of of the image, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Sefirot still. They have the one at the top middle, or the medium middle, that's they got the dotted line circle. That's Doth, which is the hidden realm of knowledge. But it still has the 10 blossoms, which are now called the 10 Sefirot. And this is circa late Renaissance. So let me show you what this one is. This one is number 2. So
and I want to I want to remind people, Sefirot there's 10 Sefirot, or archetypal qualities. So that's the idea of that it's the archetypal qualities. Is that a fair?
Yeah.
Say? Okay.
Right. So on this one, I got this one and I got another one. So the description is the same for both. This diagram represents the Kabbalistic tree of life, a central symbol in Jewish mysticism and Hermetic Kabbalah. Rather than a physical or ritualistic object, this is a philosophical blueprint for understanding the divine structure of the universe. The glyph is composed of 10 interconnected spheres known as Sephiroth and 22 connecting paths. How many cards are in the major arcana? So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this version integrates elements of astrology by mapping planets to the spheres. It serves as a guide to personal growth and spiritual enlightenment, distinct from the Assyrian and Egyptian trees that symbolize political authority or a king's eternal reign. So you can see how it's being refined over the centuries into a very specific blueprint for the human personality, in my opinion. And let me show you the other one. The description is the same, but this is a different version of it. And you can see over the years, people have been dividing it into different sections. They've been applying astrology philosophies to it. And, Jewish history is all part of it too. So if we go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's a very common thing that humans do. We look at something and we try to relate to it. We add to it, which is exactly what you're doing, Timy.
So what I've done is I realized that when people see these more historical documents that are hundreds of years old, it's hard to understand sometimes because the labels are in Hebrew. They're using alphabetical symbols that we're not familiar with. And I also think that some of the translations are, there's gray scales in there. There's room for interpretations. But I will tell you, the Marseille deck dualities, the 10 dualities, fit very conveniently into these 10 Sefirot of the Jewish tree of life, the Kabbalah tree of life. So what I did was I decided, since this is the year 2025, I want to do my version of the tree of life that makes sense and very, I hope, elegantly visualizes how the 10 primal dualities of the Marseille deck fit into our human personality. So if you have the new map, Gerald, we could bring that up and I could explain it. And I think it's a good place to start.
There you go.
So this looks different, but this is my modern interpretation of the Hermetic tree of life, which has its roots millennia ago, as we just saw. So if you look, so if you look in the middle, there's a little label that says "You are here." Can everybody see that? Linda, you have a question?
No, I just giggled.
Oh, okay. All right. So imagine you're floating in space in orbit around the Earth, and you can see the Earth down at the bottom. That's the world of manifestation. Okay. So you're floating in space and you're looking down on Earth, and you are here. And then the rest of it is your brain. And you can see to the left of "You are here" is inward focus. And that's the first tarot duality, the magician and the high priestess. And inward focus is the left-handed path to self-awareness, which you'll see at the top. There's self-awareness. There's two like dark brick red Sefirot at the top.
Yeah.
And the path to self-awareness is your inward focus. And your inward focus deals with relationships, with motivation, and with humility. And then that's inward flowing yin energy, if you want to apply it to Eastern philosophy. And you see, I put the yin yang symbol in the middle, and I had to flip it because I thought that the dark side of the yang matched more the inward flowing. I mean, the inward flowing yin energy matched the dark side of that label. I looked up some details on it. And then the outward flowing yang energy was the white side of the yin yang symbol. So if you look where we left off, you are here, there's inward focus, and that's the left side of your brain. And then if you look to the right of that, you are here point, there's your outward focus, which is symbolized by the Empress and the Emperor. And that is outward flowing yang energy. That is the right-hand path to free will. And that is the primal dualities of assertiveness, decision-making, and insight. And those are the things that accumulate into free will. And, at the very top is the portal to spiritual awakening. Although you're on the path to spiritual awakening if you're discussing these things.
Yeah.
Spiritual enlightenment is on the other side of that portal there at the top, spiritual awakening. So as you go through life, you are here and you are interfacing with the world of manifestation. And I used to say that the world of manifestation starts at the surface of your skin, but I think the world of manifestation is actually part of your body as well. I think the demarcation line is a grayer area and it's internal, but what you do is you process your inward flowing energy and your outward flowing energy to manifest things in the world. If you have a thought, you begin with an inward focus flow. It's like, I'm hungry. Maybe it's time for lunch. And you start with an inward flow and it moves to an outward flow where you're actually deciding what to do and what exactly to do. And then you manifest it. And to me, this is a modern interpretation of the philosophies of the Tree of Life and the Marseille Tarot as far as the duality interpretation goes.
Yeah. Aaron O'Nugent just said the mortal portal.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? If you think about it, I've been thinking about this lately. Up at the top, we look at the spiritual awakening. We say, oh, obviously that's a portal, right? But I think we've already, all of us, everybody that can hear my voice right now, all of us have already gone through a portal. And that portal was the world of manifestation. We all went through there when we were given the gift of self-awareness and free will. Now we're in the world of manifestation. Before that, we were in the animal kingdom, in my opinion. And, these are things that we can discuss, but that's where I am now.
I love this.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
And spiritual energy fuels every living thing. But in the animal kingdom, some of the creatures are simple and they only have a little bit of it. And as they evolve, as you'll see in the humility duality, as we evolve as creatures, we become more and more complex and more able to receive spiritual energy, which is the thing that separates us from the animal kingdom, right? The thing that separates us, in my opinion, from the animal kingdom is self-awareness and free will. And the more self-awareness you get and the more free will you get, the closer you get to spiritual awakening. I think that's our task in life. And I think we are going through a reincarnation cycle where we are working on that path of balance. And there you go. I mean, that's basically it in a nutshell. I mean, we can go through the card dualities as well, and it will inform all these things here. And another thing that I noticed, I guess I should talk about this, is as I was studying the Kabbalah tree of life, I started noticing when I was doing self-card reads that almost I would say 75% of the issues that I solved, or it helped me solve doing duality card reads, were all grouped in the middle there: relationships, motivation, decision making, and assertiveness. It seemed like 75% of the card reads for myself all fell in there, and it felt like they were special. That was like a special group. And inward focused duality and outward focused duality also felt like a separate special group. And additionally, humility and insight at the top also seemed like a different group, because the cards are different.
Yes.
The four in the middle are purely human. Even though one's death card, the skeleton, that's still a human skeleton. They're like two human beings illustrating a duality. But then, the world of manifestation is the fifth duality. That's the Hermit and the Wheel of Fortune. That one's a little bit different. You have the Wheel of Fortune, which has a big mechanical device with, strange little creatures spinning on it, And the inward focus and the outward focus also seem to be distinct from the other ones. So as I was looking at them, I noticed that relationships seemed to be related to cups and the water element.
Mm-hmm.
Assertiveness seemed like it could be related to earth and the coins or pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Also the color green. Cups is blue, water is blue. And then air, decision making was air, is swords. And that's the element of air. And that's yellow. And then motivation is wands. That's also fire, which is red. And then you have all four of the primary colors there, including green, which is in the spectrum of the primary colors of light. And then blue, red, and yellow are the primary colors of pigment. And this is a new thing for me to lay on this diagram about a week and a half ago.
Uh-huh.
But it seems so elegant. I mean, if you look at the symbols, they have bilateral symmetry to them. I never really looked too close at the earth element symbols, but they seem very symmetrical here to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like
very
relationships
elegant.
and motivation are mirrored. Yeah, and I think there's validity to this, but there's a lot of room for discussion about that. That's kind of a new thing that I've been mulling over. So there you go, and it also fits into the whole left brain, right brain thing. I think this almost looks physically like a brain. You got a left side and a right side, and they're in there, but the balance path is in the middle there. It brings the two brains together. You can't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
shall I hide this and then because
sure,
we've got
yeah, let's
good
move on to what's
conversation
next.
in the chat.
Yeah,
And I'm going to put us all like this. I'm going to put you back there. Linda, what are your thoughts on this?
That is, I want to look at it some more, but it feels really solid to me, and it feels real. And when you were explaining it to me, I found myself sort of dancing back and forth between different points on that wheel, on that tree, and it just fits. Like, I don't know, there's just something about it that fits. I think you've hit something really important. I think you're describing something really important.
I do too.
An important. I think that as a way of describing reality, it's very accurate.
I find it elegant.
Yeah, and very elegant.
Mm-hmm.
Very elegant.
Yeah. We had Maru was Persea is a genus of about 111 species of evergreen trees belonging to the laurel family. The best known member is the genus of avocado.
Laurel leaves have spiritual meaning, do they not?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and we cook with them too, only we call them bay leaves.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Is that what a bay leaf is? A laurel
It's
leaf?
bay laurel, yeah.
Mhm. Bay
There's
laurel.
111 different kinds of laurel. One of them is
Apparently.
bay laurel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does it have anything to do with a tree of Astaroth? Can refer to a few different concepts in ancient
Canaanite.
thank you. It was likely a reference to Ashereth poles, sacred trees, or wooden posts dedicated to the goddess Asherah, also known as Astaroth, a fertility goddess often associated with nature, according to gotquestions.org and Wikipedia. This is one of the reasons that I appreciate Madame Maru, because she cites her sources.
Yeah.
Always a win with Gerald.
Maru is not lazy.
Yeah. In the context of Jewish mysticism and demonology, it can be an aspect of the.
No idea. I think that's a
Thank
cue.
you. Yes,
Cleopas?
it's a cue. Yeah.
Leafoth?
The shells, or impure opposite of the divine tree of life, which Astaroth, being a demon, associated it with negative.
Yeah.
Whoa. I don't think I understand that.
Well, I think what that is there's a long history of people using the tree of life as a symbol for their things that they're concerned about. And it began millennia ago. And then Maru is just showing more examples of the tree of life. They're everywhere. I just picked 4 or 5,
Yes. Because you were talking about the left and the right, and Nalani Hypnicity said, fascinating. When I do energy healing, I use my left hand to receive and my right hand to give energy.
So do I.
Yeah.
And I didn't even actually Hypnicity. I didn't even realize that I was that was like it just how I work, and I wasn't consciously aware of that until you said that, and I went, yeah, I do that.
It feels congruent with our physicality, these 10 primal dualities.
Yeah,
It does.
It matches everything I've learned in AA. It matches things that Carl Jung's discussed. It matches the things that Jewish mystics discuss.
Yeah.
It just feels right.
It does feel right. And what's also interesting, and by the way, more people have come in. Purple Moon Tarot, whose name I believe is Francine. I wrote that down yesterday. We have Lois is here. Lois is not happy with their notifications. I will have a word with your notifications if you would like.
There's pesky notifications.
I will totally do that. And Janet DC is at work lurking.
Okay.
So it seemed natural, so natural to me. And I have I was always taught with your dominant hand is the one that you are projective, and the non-dominant hand is the one that is receptive. So I am right-handed. Many people are right-handed. So this is where there was an idea of that left-handed people were evil. They're not evil. They are differently wired. And guess what? You should probably be jealous because they see things differently than the rest of us do.
There's value in that. That's true.
Yeah.
Having a minority
Great deal
perspective.
of value. Yeah.
And what's the percentage of left-handed to right? It's something like 15% left and the rest right.
Well, I mean, in a given population, between 10 and 15%. And oddly enough, it appears that whatever it is you're looking at, whatever characteristic you're looking at in a population, the percentage of deviance from the norm is between 10 and 15%, no matter what you're looking at.
That's me, deviance from the norm. Yeah, I'm
That sounds
left-handed.
that sounds like a great Tuck Box Rage album. Deviance from the norm. Yeah. Nalani said, I was very active in 12-step programs. It was my launch pad to spirituality.
Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't believe in anything before I got into AA. I believed in pulling myself up with my own bootstraps, boy.
You know,
Personal responsibility. Go out there and take it. That was my philosophy, and it was a wrong, bad philosophy.
Well, okay. It
that's the
got you
individualist bullshit.
Yeah, it got you to where you needed to be, because I think if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be here sharing time with us, telling us your exploration.
Excellent point.
So, and I'm also a firm believer this idea of we are. Gerald's going to get on a soapbox. When we do not allow human beings to experience humanness completely, when we do not allow girls to fight, boys to cry, we are creating an imbalance so that I can't do this, or I shouldn't do this. And that creates an imbalance I believe is really, really challenging to unlock.
Yep. Because it causes a lot of, that imbalance causes a lot of internal I'm going to say psychic, but I don't mean psychic. It causes a lot of internal stress in your internal guts.
Because
guts
it's unnatural. It's
unnatural. Because it's not what you want. It's not who you are. And you have to hide who you are, and you have to pretend to be something you're not. And like, what a way to become 8 years old, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Francine shared, I am supposed to be left-handed, but was forced to use right hand.
Yeah.
I was called the devil's child. So now I guess I'm ambidextrous.
Lucky you.
That happened to my one grandfather. He's left-handed, and they forced him to write with his right hand, and he just never wrote because it was so bad. His handwriting was so horrible.
Well, yeah.
He maintained coke ovens at not Western Electric, Sparrows Point, like steel foundry. He had a steel foundry job.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
And Maru said the creator wants to experience everything
Yes.
for us.
Yes. The universe we are the universe talking to itself. Ooh. Isn't that cool?
I like that.
I like that too. I love that so much. I don't know who said it. It wasn't me. I'm just repeating it.
We could discuss it for hours. I have a lot of thoughts about what was just said by Maru.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the duality. Let's stay focused.
Oh, okay.
No, it's more fun now. Okay.
It's more fun to party it up and just do what we want.
Balance is what Nalani strives for, and so yeah.
So what should we do next? I mean, we're all tarot people. Why don't we talk about the cards? Want to go through that? How they fit in the tree?
I think that sounds like a great idea. We've got about 17 minutes before the hour.
Oh, wow. Is that gone that quick?
Mm-hmm.
Do I talk a lot? Why does it go?
Because everything is so engaging, Timmy. You're not over talking. I do think, part of me wants to, let's engage this topic about duality and this tree.
Okay.
Because I'm really curious. First of all, I wrote down, why is it a tree?
It's a common symbol that everyone on Earth can observe on their own.
But why?
It starts with a seed. It's planted in the ground. There's fertility. And it grows up like a child into an adult. And it looks kind of like a human being with arms and whatever.
Okay, so if I picture myself as a Sumerian from like 4,000 years ago, trees would be really important to me because
Thank you, cat lady.
They provide shade. They indicate where water is.
Mm-hmm.
They have food. Some have
They
food.
enhance survival if you're near trees.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If you have
Building
trees
materials.
Building materials, fuel to cook your food, shelter, because if nothing else, you can shelter under the tree. Yeah, and then of course
It can be protective.
Yeah. So I can see that a tree would become a real important, putting myself 5,000 years ago, I can see why a tree would become a really important symbol of the good things of life. Shelter, food, sustenance.
Strength over time.
Yeah.
Bigger and stronger.
Growth over time.
And then you die. Then the tree dies. A lot of times within a human lifetime, you can see a tree grow up and then die. No?
You've short-circuited Linda. Well done, Timy.
Linda and Wanda have just switched places.
Sorry, I interrupted you and blew your train of thought.
I'm thinking, I'm trying to think seriously about what you just said. Yeah, they do, but okay, I don't know enough about. But generally speaking, they last longer than an individual human. Like if your grandfather planted a tree, it's likely that it will not die during his lifetime. It might die in your lifetime. What kills trees is usually disease or insects or stuff, or people cutting them down. But they usually live a long time, don't they? Before they just.
They do. And they're an integral part to life on the planet.
Yes.
So
create oxygen, take out the carbon dioxide.
Linda said human incarnations are the leaves on the tree of life, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, the analogy works.
Another fascinating thing about trees too is I just saw in the comment. I'm sorry, I missed who it was from. As above, so below. When people started observing, and our ancestors were very careful observers, very accurate observers. When they saw the leaves and then the trunk and then the roots, they went, "Oh, that's so cool!"
Mm-hmm.
And again, another symbol, another brick in the symbol wall, right?
Another valid analogy.
Yes.
Between a human and a tree. Plus, there's all kinds of different trees, and there's all kinds of different looking humans too.
Well, yes. I mean, I wrote this down. Why the tree as a symbol? It's a curious thing for me. And Timy, you are actually going back in your archaeological understanding of the tree of life and how it has grown. It has grown also in the sense of as society has grown and evolved, so has our understanding of how to relate to these symbols. I'm a big believer of if a spirituality does not grow and evolve, or if a religion does not grow and evolve, it's not a good thing. It needs to grow and evolve with the time to help people understand and have the balance that's necessary. The tree of knowledge in the garden of whatever. Yeah.
Eden.
Yes. In Eden, Garden of Eden. So even there,
the tree of knowledge.
It's the tree of knowledge. And so trees can indicate problems in these environments. Canaries in the coal mine. Mm-hmm. And Janet also shared genealogists and historians always referred to families as branches of the tree or the family tree.
Yeah.
So we've co-evolved with trees. And
we came from trees. We grew, as humans, we evolved on a savanna, which is plains with trees. We evolved in trees with primates, first of all, and then came down out of the trees, and we've been up and down ever since.
And here you go. I'm gonna
pronounce that one.
Yeah,
Yggdrasil.
Yeah,
is the giant
That's
ash
true.
word
I
tree.
believe, yeah. Yeah, Norse mythology that connects the 9 worlds of the cosmos, serving as the central axis of the universe, supported by 3 main roots and housing various mythical creatures. Yggdrasil is a sacred and vital part of the Norse worldview, representing the cosmic structure that binds all realms and beings together.
So
I forgot
9
about that Norse
worlds.
tree.
9 worlds. Okay.
Yeah.
Why isn't it 10? There is a 10th part that's missing, or not missing, but there is a 10th. I bet you there's a 10th part in there. And if I could see a picture, maybe we could find it.
Exactly my thought. I was thinking, I don't know much about the Yggdrasil tree,
I
but
don't
I've
know.
heard of it. But if you look at it close enough, I bet you a whole lot of it will be congruent with these other interpretations.
In the Latvian tradition, Austra's Coax is a symbol. Down is a symbol. Dawn's tree, which the sun climbs into the sky every morning.
Latvia.
Yeah, Latvian tradition. Bonzo is here. Namaste. Yeah, 369.
I forgot.
What's that?
Very spiritual numbers.
Tesla's magic formula for the universe, the cosmos, the observable universe in which we live. Yeah.
3, 6, and 9.
Yeah.
2 prime numbers and a 6 in the middle.
I think what's really thought-provoking is, you have given us this symbol. You've updated this symbol for the duality, and you've done this. And in the Kabbalah tree of life, we have things that connect.
Yeah.
There's all these connections. All of those connections can still exist in this. And I think leave it to humans to overcomplicate it. Leave it to Gerald to overcomplicate it.
That's what exactly humans. Yeah, no, not.
Well, I call it window dressing. I think all philosophies start out with primal raw ideas that are mostly true as a human can get to anything. And then Linda, I just lost my train of thought.
Did I break you, or was that
you didn't say anything? I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
What were we talking about just now? You brought
talking about the
connections and the overcomplication.
Connections, right? So I think that a lot of times, a lot of philosophies start off with great intentions, and the things that they deal with that they communicate are true. But then as human communities embrace these things, it becomes a lot of window dressing. People start filling in the blanks, and it starts to become a commercial enterprise, where houses are built and people all, meet at the house, and it becomes, part of the community. But I think some of the original message gets just obscured by window dressing.
100%.
So what you're saying is the balance is lost. It becomes more about the window dressing than the meaning.
Message, yeah.
Yeah, it becomes about tithing 10% of your income rather than spiritual awakening.
Right.
Now, is that pre-tax or after tax?
Well, those are concerns. We should have some legislation on our human philosophy, right? But
this whole it is a concern, and there are people, when they get their tax refund back, they tithe that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's up to you to do that.
And Beth
I think it's
has
unnecessary.
joined us, by the way. Beth has joined us.
Oh, hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth.
And Jamie has joined us as well. It's like, I think it's interesting how similar Astora is to
Astra.
Astra.
And Asherah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
What is that? I'm not familiar
Astra
with this.
is the Latvian dawn tree, and Asherah is the Sumerian goddess, also known as Ashtaroth, which is a demon to the Jews.
Which is very fascinating
Very
because
interesting, right?
which
a
is
female goddess that in one religion becomes a demon in another. I mean, the definition of patriarchy. What?
5 minutes and 49 seconds in. I was waiting for that word because you're right. Because right now, this is Gerald's opinion.
Am I your token radical feminist, for God's sake?
You have to say patriarchy at least once in every.
There is no token about you. Jeez.
There's no tokenistic things about you.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. You mean like Lilith, who was actually
yeah, exactly. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Beth. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right.
Because I
boom, roasted.
So what I was trying to say is we are extremely out of balance.
Yes, we are.
And what has happened is there's this Gerald's opinion, not endorsed by anybody else. This idea of there is this scrambling to keep things as they are instead of evolving and doing the wise thing.
Yeah, changing. Yeah.
Changing and evolving, because sometimes when tree gets too heavy, a fruit tree gets too heavy,
branches
if you don't knock off some of the fruit, it's going to break.
Yeah.
So there you go. Put that on a t-shirt for Linda. There is no token about me.
Too true.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's a question of balance. And the thing about patriarchy is that it is imbalanced from the get-go. And what we have now is we have this unholy alliance of late-stage capitalism and patriarchy, each of which reinforces the other, making it really difficult for each of us as individuals to find balance.
And as when individuals do not have balance, the society does not have balance. It just trickles. A tree shirt. Put it on a tree shirt.
That's brilliant.
You're freaking brilliant, madam. You're
brilliant, business.
Neruda. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. I love it.
And patriarchy by definition is imbalanced.
Yes.
And I think that's a very unfortunate thing, because anything exclusive is imbalanced.
Yeah.
Anything
and that's easily illustrated on the Tree of Life, where people who look like patriarchs are imbalanced on the right-hand side of outward flowing energy.
Yes.
But that includes female symbols too, like the Empress and the Emperor are outward flowing energy. So the Empress is also a part of the patriarchal style energy, where it's all assertiveness, decision making, and insight. There's no considerations at all for the inward flow, which is relationships, motivation, and humility.
Yeah.
So in order to balance that, your imbalanced patriarchal behavior, you look at the first two dualities and you say, you got way too much outward flow energy and you're not spending enough time on your inward flow energy regarding relationships, regarding your motivations for things, and regarding your humility. Like, if you don't know who you are and what you are, then you're just stepping all over everybody. If you're driving in the chariot and hitting people in the head and you have no idea having any humility as you go into the conflict, not having any regard for your motivations for thing, and not having any regard for relationships. And that's the toxic patriarchal thing that I think you're describing. And you can do card reads to help you stop being such a patriarch and move more toward your matriarch side, you know. It's not something that anybody should be embarrassed about. It's a path of success. All patriarchy is a path to failure, and we've seen it over the centuries. It just never works, and it works for certain people. It's real great for a very small group, 1%, but it's not great for everybody. You know, imbalance is horrible for everyone.
Imbalance is horrible, and I think
when your leaders are imbalanced.
Yes. So we have been talking about the duality and the tree of life. This is the part 2 of this conversation. Timy, what's next for this for you? I'm very curious. I have thoughts, but you know, what's next for you?
I don't have any thoughts.
Well, I'm writing a book describing all of this and illustrating it. Yeah, good. I'm a third of the way done. The text that I sent Gerald, and unfortunately did not send to you, Linda, I apologize, but I will send you a copy of it. It's a draft, but it's a pretty easy to read draft, and it's clear. And I think that I've gotten at least all the basic parts of the mechanics of the duality interpretation nailed down when I finally did that last tree of life that you all saw today. So now I'm going to flesh that part out, which is the technical part, the card interpretation part. And what I'm going to do is, in the beginning, the first third, I'm going to write my story and how I came to this. And you know, Gerald, you've been drawing that out of me, and I'm just going to basically, you know, use the things that I've told you and Linda and explain how I went from, you know, attempting suicide to recovery and starting to have a prosperous, successful life of my own, you know. And it all had to do with me getting all that bullshit out of my head, you know. And that's a common thing for people in AA, drug addicts and alcoholics, is you have to be truthful with yourself without exception. That's the first step, being truthful with yourself. And then, as a general rule, be truthful with the people around you. That's the first step. So I'm going to write that story and how it led me to this, what I think is a very interesting, I think it's a discovery. I think that I'm not way off base with the tarot connection and the duality pairs, because they're right there. They make so much sense. I don't see how it's random or a mistaken hypothesis of mine. You know, I don't think I'm mistaken about this. I think I'm right.
I don't think you're mistaken.
No,
I want to build you up. I'm feeling very emotionally charged with this because there is a great deal of power in sharing one's experience with finding balance in a way that's meaningful. Yeah. Your story, Timy, I'm going to heap praise in your general direction, so be ready.
Give it to me, please.
Yes. Your story is going to help other people be willing to go, maybe I'm struggling with that too.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're also going to have people who are going to say, that Timy, he's a fucking moron. He's an idiot. He's wrong. Which, guess what? We all know what happens when that occurs. It's like you've hit the nail on the head, and it makes people uncomfortable. And I think, thank you for being here and being willing to share with us.
Yeah.
And thank you for everybody who's watching, because right now we're doing something really important. We're holding space. We're letting someone understand. I mean, and I'm learning a lot from this. So I'm like going, oh yeah, afterwards, I've got lots of ideas of what we could do next. So Timy, you're not getting away that quickly from us.
Yeah. Don't hit the leave studio button just yet, Timy.
Well, part of the book, I've talked to my business partner, Sally. She's English, and she lives in Annapolis, Maryland, near me. And we have a business together, an art gallery type business. but she's very interested in all these things too. And she's a really accomplished artist. So what we've decided to do is we're going to publish the book, but we're going to publish a companion deck. We're going to do a duality deck for the major arcana. And I've been working on the images, and we already have the back of the card. I think I'm going to do, we had a discussion at some point about, the physicality of the cards, like what's good and what's bad. And I think what I'm going to do is we're going to do, 22 cards of the major arcana. And then I'm going to do 10 new cards that are the merge cards, like the duality cards. Like there'll be the magician and the high priestess. Card. And then I'll have the duality card for that duality, which is the magician and the high priestess combined together.
So the balance card. Yes,
that's the balance card that represents the duality. So it'll be 22 cards. So I'll do the whole, major arcana so that they're all homogenous. They all look the same. They look like they belong together. And then I'll use the images from the 22 to make the merge cards, the duality cards. And I think that'll be interesting. And then the backs for those will all be the same. And then if there's interest, maybe we can do the court cards, and we'll have a different back for that. And then the pips, the number cards, and I'll have a different back design for those. Because the way I do the duality draws, that doesn't confuse things to have separate backs for the different sections. That you actually want to separate the sections out when you do the card draws.
Yes. And what I was saying, Linen finished a 330 card stock, 320 card stock. Anyhow, and I have a name of a producer.
Oh, good. Yeah, I need some advice about producing.
Before we go, Maru said the wisdom of both sexes must be acknowledged, and Beth wisely added, respected and acknowledged. And Linda said, this is awesome. It makes things a little clearer. Thank you so much. There is a dependency and a codependency, another duality.
It's a truism about our world that everything almost can be defined as a duality, because I think that's the fundamental structure of our reality.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes the ball roll, is the fact that there's two pieces pushing and pulling against each other.
Yep. 0, 1.
Yeah. And Irene says, I was listening into driving, but it kept cutting out. What I have heard sounds really good. We can balance.
It was really good, Irene. Trust me.
It was really good. We can balance the dark by shining our light, because you cannot have your light without the dark. And with they both need to exist. So, and there's praise for the deck. Lori has joined us. Hi, Lori. And so, okay. So we're she's like, I'm definitely be watching the replay.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you.
So yes. And thank you for this, Timy, and thank you for being brave. I know it can be very scary to share new ideas with people. And thank you for trusting us enough to do that. So I really appreciate it.
Well, I thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sought you out. I didn't know your names yet, but I sought this community out on purpose because I needed help with this.
Good. And I hope we've got you thinking. And I hope sometimes I hope we're unbalancing what you're thinking. So you have to find the balance and get a deeper understanding. Well, and Linda helped you with that. Linda.
She defined relationships for me. She fixed relationships because it wasn't quite right. And I could kind of feel that it wasn't quite right. And she gave an insight to that was very, very clear. And you were right, Linda. You were right about that. And that's the way it is now in my book.
You were right, Linda.
Right.
Linda is always right.
That's a tree shirt for sure.
That's a tree shirt.
Yeah, it is.
Timy, do you write song lyrics? Beth wants to know.
Yes, in my current band, I help in small ways with the song lyrics. But I have written a lot of poetry, which is kind of like song lyrics. When I was in a really dark period back in 2010, 11, 12, I was writing some very emotional poetry, and it's really hard to read now, and it's not something that I think the public would appreciate, but because it was quite dramatic and overwrought, and I was like wanting to kill myself, is that kind of poetry. But I do like to write, and I like writing in poetic ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I wonder also, hi Laura Snapped. I wonder what it would be like for you to go back and rewrite some of that poetry from that time to help it find balance.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
By the way, this is for entertainment purposes only. But I love that. That's a balance right there.
Yeah. Sort of related to that is I've been doing the deck images using AI. And I know a lot of people say that's cheating, but I don't have the work energy that would be required to manually paint 22 paintings for a major arcana deck. Neither does Sally, my business partner. But the interesting thing is, and I think this is valid, what I want to do is I've been creating these deck images from detailed descriptions. And I was on one of the AI shows that you guys did, and I said I wanted to create the decks like subroutines. Like the magician is one subroutine and the high priestess is another subroutine, and then I tell the machine to like mix the two subroutines together and give me an output. But that gets too complicated. That path led to the AI just freezing up, and I actually broke one of the chats. I couldn't fix it. It just kept going, blip, and blip.
Good for you.
Well done.
I broke it.
Well done.
Broke it.
Well done.
Good
I had
job.
so many conflicting
yeah.
rules. I had so many conflicting rules, and went, I give up. No.
I love that. That's the time where you see, I just picture the AI. I picture Quill like going, I am I'm on my break. Go to the next window. I mean, I'm going for my break, and they're sitting out there smoking a cigarette and having a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So as the comment here,
yes,
it's not
poetry.
Aspasia. What is her name? I forgot.
Beth Aspasia Rising. Poetry and lyrics are pretty much the same. My idea: you add a stanza of explanatory poetry to each card in your deck.
Yeah,
we are exactly on the same page.
Yes.
Because
it's
what
not
I
a
want to
good
do,
term, but yeah, well, I mean a stanza that sums up the energy or beauty of each card.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is the way that the cards have been working out with the AI is I just do a single detailed description of the way I want the card to look. And my idea is to write that description in a poetic way. It's interesting to read. And I put that into the AI and it generates the image. And then I'm going to publish the detailed description that I used to generate the card in the book. And if you have an electronic version of the book, you can copy and paste the description and put it into your own AI and see what comes out. I think it'd be pretty interesting. And I want it to be lyrical, and I want it to be poetic. I want the description, because the way I've been doing it is like, I see a magician sitting in front of his table. He's blah, blah, blah. And I think it would be better if it was written in like a poetic form, And why not? Why not? It could still be just as descriptive as doing it in a dry, boring way. So I'll try to do it in an interesting literary way.
You could just like write the description, just your technical bullet point, magician say blah, blah, blah. And then instead of saying, draw this picture, say, please write this in a poetic form. And then once it's written poetically, then put it into, and wouldn't it be interesting?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
To do both, actually, to do a drawing or to have it create art with the first prompt. And then with the second prompt that's more poetic, create a drawing from that.
Mm-hmm. It would see how they're different.
Yes, yeah. It would be really
see how they're different and similar. Yeah. I'm a big believer in when you are using it, the more of you can give it to respond to, the more engaging it is. So if you have your poetry, if I have my written story and I need some things checked or something like that, the result is better rather than me just saying, do this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instead, I say, here's what I'm doing. And then I said, here's what I did. You got to spin on it. It's sort of like if the three of us on screen were to be able to create a 3-card spread around the topic of duality and balance, what 3 prompts would you come up with? And they're going to be similar, but they're going to be very powerful when you set them together and next to each other. They're going to radiate.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Especially with us. So,
yeah. You know, the whole AI, and then I thought it was kind of corporate and evil, but really it's just a really great writing partner, really great assistant that knows how to do everything.
Yeah.
You know, one other thing that I can mention about doing the card images, and I know a lot of people, I know Robin was doing some AI generated card images, I think, at one point. Oh, no, it was
Richie.
Richie was doing that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things I found is that when I generate a card image, I save every one of them, because sometimes it's like lightning in a bottle. You get like a really good one and you're like, whoa, that's cool. And then most of the time, 80%, it's like, well, there's something wrong with that. It looks 6 fingers or, you know, something trivial and dumb like that, but it makes it look stupid. So with AI, it's kind of like real life, you know, like you take 10 shots and 3 of them are home runs and 6 of them are strikeouts, you know? Yeah.
Gosh, this has been amazing. Thank you, Timy, for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Linda, for just for being awesome.
For being Linda.
Thanks for being Linda.
For always being right. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have somebody around that's always right?
Yes. Part of that is as we know from watching my shows recently, I can't pronounce anything properly.
Gerald, I think you need new glasses or something. I think you just can't.
Yeah, I think it's your glasses.
I have bad cataracts. I need to get surgery.
That is exactly what's wrong, Timy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
you ever do that in a business meeting?
Oh yes, I have actually. And for the office potluck, I made a kitty litter cake.
Oh, nice. That's a
It was delicious, very sweet, with little Tootsie Roll turds, you know, that you sort of half melt in the microwave and
make them more authentic.
Linda said the sound is very choppy. Oh, geez. No, Lori said it's choppy. Oh my gosh.
For the whole thing today?
I hope not.
All the sound was choppy? I hope not.
I hope not. Thomas from Terror Your Way is here. Thomas, hello. And Hershey should have been sending you an invitation for a yawn readings in October. So, yeah, there you go. Anyhow, thank you, everybody, for joining this Laugh and Learn. A big thanks to Timy and Linda. If this has helped you, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Drop your follow-ups. Maybe there'll be a part 3. Maybe.
I got a whole section we didn't touch yet today. So, yeah.
People have got to tell us that you would like to see more. And the replay and the podcast are available. Just follow the description, because you all are awesome. And I have to say thank you, everyone, for being here. Have an incredible rest of your day. Bye.
See you later.